All right. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, and so if anybody else, hops on, just want to respect your time. I know it's later over there. Those of you watching football, maybe you're catch the end of the game. I don't know, but I really just wanted to say how much I appreciate you letting me be on this call, and this in general, this family room that you created. I love that concept, and it has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about today. And you are doing that. So Michelle and Greg, I just really wanted to specifically thank you a lot for creating this environment. And so that's kind of what my what I have here for you is about, is community and exactly what your team's doing. And I took some time to read down through a lot of the things, that you're doing. And it's beautiful because, Maria, Pam, this is what is that missing piece to a lot of people's lifestyle, like making this a lifestyle. And this is the missing piece that a lot of people don't have, that community, that love, that support. And like, I was blown away by reading down through like all the encouragement, all the, just loving on each other. And so that's really, I do have slides, but I'm going to try to refrain from using them. But I was going to post them just in case people want to go back to them. It's there, but I didn't want to make it too formal because I like this concept of a living room and just feeling like, very free, very vulnerable, very open-minded. I love that. And I want to thank you, Michelle and Greg, for, really creating this for all of us. And I appreciate it. So going off of that, I moved out here to get a PhD in exercise and nutrition. And, I butt heads with a lot of the professors because they didn't want to hear my main goal was to look at adherence. Like, why is it a lot of yo-yoing? Why do some people make this a lifestyle and some people don't? And I really wanted to research that. I really wanted to find that piece. Like, I wanted to understand why some people can, grab a hold of this and it's years and years and years, and why some people struggle with it. And so I butt heads with a lot of my professors because they didn't want to hear it. They were like, a lot of it has to do with funding, but they wanted just the next best nutritional, information, or the next best exercise, HIIT training versus long distance cardiovascular, they want to see that. But I wanted to look at a different side of it, the psychological side, because that's where I feel like a lot of people struggle, maybe more the difficult piece is that self-love. And so you can have the best nutrition, you can have the best exercise plans, and that's what I love about Beachbody so much, because they put that there for us. They have the programs right at our fingertips. We push play. I think we overcomplicate it sometimes. We get to push play. We get to drink our superfoods. We have that. A lot of the excuses are taken away. You don't have to drive to a gym if we don't want to. We can work out in the luxury of our own home. Like, that part's awesome. But what I really think sets Beachbody apart, and especially your team, is this right here. The community, the love, the support. Because just because we take on this new lifestyle of health, nutrition, exercise, doesn't mean it's going to all be perfect, right? And I think that that's sometimes the misconception, that everything's just going to be great. And I love that you have supplied that missing piece. And what I really think is the missing piece of the equation is this right here, is the community. And so I wanted to, the theme of this is creating your climate and asking yourself some hard questions, kind of in a way. And the first one is asking yourself, are you a thermometer or a thermostat in your own life? And I think sometimes, like, maybe another way of saying that is reactive versus proactive. And so are you a thermometer, kind of just gauging how you live your life off of what happens around you? Or are you a thermostat and you are here, and whether or not, you know, things that you can't control. Let's say you're a thermostat, you can't control the weather outside. You can't control if a window opens or closes, but you can keep that steady. You may have to work a little bit harder to maintain that temperature, right? But you are a thermostat in your own life. And I think a lot of times we are a thermometer. We just kind of gauge our own life off of what happens around us. And so that's one of those questions that I challenge you to ask yourself, you know, now that we're getting ready to conclude 2018, hop into 2019, and I want you to look at it in a new lens. Like, I want you to look at 2019 in a different way. I think I might mute. Are you guys getting, like, can you hear other sounds?
Yeah.
Not a lot, a little.
Okay. Okay, good. But asking yourself those questions, so really thinking about in your life, like, are you an active girl in your own life? You know, that's a legit question to ask yourself. And I think around the holidays, that's probably even a little bit more something that, you know, is a challenge, I guess. But not even that, just like coming into the new year and really keeping that in mind. Like, instead of being a reactive, you know, whether it's you're in traffic or you are, you know, a bill comes up that you weren't prepared for. Those kinds of things, those are uncontrollables, but what we can control is how we react. And so basically that's all kind of on this. But I wanted to talk about also, I don't know, and if you have pen and paper, I don't want to make it like I'm just spewing this out here. But Outliers, it's a book. One of my mentors flew in, you know, over Thanksgiving just recently, and she was reading that book. And I have been wanting to read it, and it kind of makes me think about this family room concept, because it's funny, it was a research study. There was this town called Roseto, and did anybody read that book, Outliers? No. That would be one. And I don't know if you guys do this, but personal development, you know, we talk about that a lot. YouTube has free audiobooks. I don't know if you knew that either. So I just get them on YouTube. And I just listen to free books on YouTube. So if you don't have that, that's, I don't know, I highly suggest doing that, because it's free and you can pretty much type in any book you want and listen to it. So this one's called Outliers, and it's chapter 1 actually, so you wouldn't even have to read the whole book. But chapter 1 reminded me of this concept that you have here and how important it is. And so there was this town in Italy called Roseto, and a few of the members of this community traveled overseas to Little Italy, New York, and wanted to start this new life. And so little by little, they transferred over to actually a small town in Pennsylvania, like 90 miles south of New York City, and they worked in this slate mill. And little by little, this town of Roseto over in Italy, they all transferred over and created their own town, and they called it Roseto. It's in Pennsylvania. In the foothills of the mountains in Pennsylvania, they created this town. And in this town, they had churches, they had, you know, playgrounds, schools, community centers. And this doctor from Tennessee, this is how the story goes. This doctor from Tennessee came to Pennsylvania for some sort of like convention, and he was talking to the doctors from this town, and they were like, nobody dies of heart disease. Like, everybody in this town dies of old age. That's it. Nobody has heart disease. They just die from old age. And they couldn't figure this out. And they were like trying to figure out why. And they were like, well, it must have been some sort of like nutrition that they carried over from Italy, you know? And they were like, no, because even like the very, very good organic olive oil, they're not using that anymore. They're cooking with lard. They're cooking like biscottis used to be for holidays, and they're eating them all the time. So they couldn't figure out. They're like, no, it's not nutrition. And then they were like, well, maybe it's exercise. And they were like, over in Italy, they would bike ride at least 6 miles every morning, you know, to where they worked. And in Pennsylvania, they're like, nope, hey, America. And they're like, nope, it's not exercise. And so they were like trying to figure out why these people were living so long and only dying of old age, and they couldn't figure it out. And they were like, it must be genetic then. It must be something genetic. And they were studying all these people, and the people that moved away from this town and lived in other states, those people were very sick. They were unhealthy. So it wasn't anything genetic. And what they came to realize was it was this community, like almost they built like this utopia, that they counted on each other. They felt loved. They felt supported. Nobody was on welfare. Like they all had a purpose. They all had a job. They all had respect for each other and counted on each other. And a lot of the houses had like 3 generations living in it, because it was, and they realized that was like the deciding factor. It was this unity, this community, this loving on each other that made them so healthy. And I thought that that was so cool, because in today's society, nobody wants to hear that, right? Nobody wants, it's always like the next best program or the next best nutrition, like, and can you guys hear me?
How to help her hear you. No. America can't hear you. We're trying to figure out how to help her get. She can see, but she can't hear anything. What are? Let's see. You go ahead and keep going. I'll try to help her from behind the scenes.
All right. So I thought that was really cool, because it played exactly into this and like this concept of what we have here and what you guys are doing, because you guys are just loving on each other, creating that community, and that's like a huge factor in making this a lifestyle. And I've seen you do it month after month after month after month, when a lot of people, you know, people just doing the programs or nutrition may fall off. You guys have that unity, you have that support, you have that love on each other, and that's a huge part of it.
She can hear you now.
Oh, good.
Hi, sorry.
You're fine.
No, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're on. Super excited. So, you know, I don't know if I should share this. It might make more sense to actually like see it. Let me see. Okay. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you see a loading sign? Okay. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. So going into 2019 with a new lens, and I think honestly, like I was going back to before, it's not really that everything just is so smooth when you take on this lifestyle. It's just that we have a new perception. We can look at it differently. We can choose to see things in a different way. And so I like to break it down into, am I living in fear? Am I making this decision out of fear or out of love? And so this is a really good time, right where we are in almost 2019. We can look back at 2018 and we can look at it in resentment, regret. We can look at all the things maybe that we didn't succeed in. We could look at things that we thought maybe were mistakes. We could take it in as like a victim mindset. And I'm not even just saying this past year, but I know for me, what really kept me stagnant for a really long time was probably more so the very last part, that I felt like a victim in my own life. Like I felt like I was wasting a lot of time, or like a lot of times I would look at other people and I would be like, oh, wow, that's awesome for them, but that won't be me. Or even with my eating disorder, I saw I was told lots and lots of times that like you just have to learn to cope with it, you know. And so for me, I was like looking at the past, and I was pretty much just listening to the paradigms and the stories that I was told, and I was creating my present moment off of a fear-based past, you know. And so it wasn't until I started looking at things more in like out of love. So like thinking about how are you viewing the past? So are you still in resentment maybe over certain people? That, you know, going into 2019, we can look at it in forgiveness. And, you know, forgiveness, a lot of times you think, oh, that's for the other person, but it's really for yourself. It really is. Like, that's one of the best things. And it's not even forgiving other people. Sometimes we have to forgive ourselves, you know? We have to let go and remember that it was all for a reason. We can look at those things and those times where we thought we failed and look at them as growth. We can look at the times where we thought we made mistakes. Like, I mean, I was an addict. I went through a divorce. Like and some things I still haven't even like told on social media yet, you know, some things that are deep secrets or whatever, things that I look at as mistakes, but now I can see how they were opportunities and experience, because there's a lot of people I've met and been able to talk to and at a deeper level because I went through those, you know. And for you, it may be something else. It could be, you know, God gave you those situations and those experiences for a purpose. And so we can look at it as a victim, like, oh man, I wasted, you know, last night I was thinking about this and it was 20 years I had an eating disorder actually. And that's pretty crazy to think about. And I never really actually added it up until last night. And, you know, I could think of that in a victim, like, oh, all those years lost. But you know what? We can be the hero in our own story. We can look at those as opportunities and experiences to be used for purpose and to, you know, share that, those common bonds between people, because that's what we have here. We have community. We have, we can create that culture where we can lean on each other. And when we want to retreat, we can lean in. And when we want to play victim, we can remember that we can be the hero of our own story. So I just, you know, challenge you to be asking yourself, how are you doing the past? Whether that was this past year, whether it's like things that, I know for me, I was hiding things, dug them way under the carpet. I didn't ever want to even bring it up from my childhood, you know, and those were all things that were affecting why I couldn't make this a lifestyle. Like, I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I went to eight years of post high school, you know, on exercise nutrition. Like, you would think that I would be able to make this a lifestyle, but I wasn't. I knew the nutrition, I knew the exercise, but it came down to loving myself. I had to forgive myself. I had to realize I'm worthy. I can be happy. And for so long I was thinking, you know, I felt guilty if I made myself a priority. You know, what would other people say? Or, you know, I can't have that life. That wasn't in my cards because I already messed up so many times. Who am I to be happy or free? So I just challenge you, you know, that would be another question to ask yourself. How are you viewing? Are you living in fear? Are you making decisions out of fear? Or are you looking at it in love, loving yourself, realizing, yes, you are worthy. Yes, you can do this. And then also the future, you know, not even some people, and I know that you can look at your feelings, and society wants us to think very logically, you know, what makes sense? Like, what does society think that as moms, what are we supposed to do? As wives, oh, we're supposed to act this way and that way to be a good wife or a good mom. And, you know, I challenge you to look at your feelings, because I think in society, we're supposed to hide them. I don't know. At least I thought so. You know, I grew up in a family that we didn't really talk about our feelings. Like, we had to toughen up, and we had to just suck it up, you know, and not talk about it. And if there was something wrong, we would just go to our rooms and kind of ignore it until it kind of just faded away. But the thing is, it never fades away. You know, it's just not like in our face. We just kind of put it in a closet under a rug, and that comes up later on. And so I think of feelings as that's not a weakness. You can look at feelings and those are keys. Like those are awesome ways to unlock patterns. And so when you're feeling frustrated or angry or sad, like those are all different keys, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing, actually. It's our way of getting to the root of things, you know? And so I think a lot of times we want to cover those up, but it's like, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. It's getting to the root of that and why. And so here, a lot of times, like if we're feeling anxiety, it's oftentimes because we're looking at the future in a fear-based sense, right? And so I like to ask myself how I'm doing things. When I'm making decisions, is it because I'm afraid that I'm not going to be accepted? Is it afraid that I might fail? Is it am I afraid that people won't love me if I, get vulnerable? So thinking about those types of things like guilt, like looking at the future. Well, what happens if I do spend this money and invest on myself? Does that make me a bad mom because I'm spending money on myself? You know what I mean? Guilty for spending time getting a workout in when you think that you should be, playing with your kids instead. That type of thing. Those are all things that I hear a lot from, people that I work with. Looking at the future and thinking that you're not able. Maybe it's a new program coming out and you're thinking, I'm not strong enough to do that one. I have tried program after program and haven't completed any yet. I'm not capable of doing that. Maybe you're feeling stuck in your current situation, right? And you're just looking at the future like, well, there's no way out. This is kind of how it is for me. Or maybe you're looking at the future and you're afraid of taking risks. And then you flip that and you look at, instead of looking at failure, remember the community you have right here with this family room. And I love Michelle and Greg. Like, I can't think of two people, and actually this whole community, because I love you guys to death. I couldn't think of more loving people, that make it so easy to be yourself and to be vulnerable and to try. And you know what? If it doesn't work, they're gonna love you unconditionally and be there for you and be like, you know what? You didn't get your workout in today. Hey, tomorrow, guys, tomorrow. Maybe this program, you didn't fall in love with it. Hey, we have tons of other programs that might, they're always so loving. They're always put things back into perspective, and just right back there. And that's what I love so much about this, that you have that. You can be vulnerable. You can be real. You can be yourself. You can mess up. You can fail, fall down 50 times, 50,000 times. And you can still know without a doubt, they will love you just as much today. And I like to think about this as God, God will love you just as much today, whether you work out ever again in your life, And I love that because it takes that perfectionism out of it. It takes that, expectations for yourself. And it brings back why we do this. It's out of appreciation. It's not, I think about it and it's just I don't have to do it because I am punishing myself out of guilt or I actually look forward to it now because I have such a family around me that makes it fun, makes me feel loved. And if I miss 2 days or I'm traveling or whatever, I have a family right here that loves me anyway, loves me regardless. And God does too. And it's I think that's been the biggest life changer for me, is because I used to do things to earn value. And I used to do things I felt like I had to look a certain way to be loved, or I felt like I had to get so many, this degree or that degree to be good enough or to be able to help people. And that's bullshit, And it's just this community right here is where it's at. And it's whenever I thought about what I should call this, it's creating your climate. And I know that there are people in your life possibly that are maybe toxic And it's not like, okay, Megan, what am I supposed to do? Just like get rid of my husband? Or, you know, like, what am I supposed to do here? And it's like, no, it goes back to that thermostat where it's like, you recognize, like, you can't control the weather outside. You can't control if windows go up and down, but you can try to maintain that level of happiness for you. You know what I mean? And so that's where maybe you can't eliminate all the toxic people, but you can bring in more positive people into your life. And so I don't mean people that are going to like co-sign your bullshit. I'm talking about people that will, you know, be there for you, but also speak the truth, you know, love you regardless, but they're not going to be, spend like an hour just helping you gossip and whatever. And like, they're going to just bring you back to like, hey, listen, every minute that you are fixated on this is a minute away from your happiness, right? So those are the people that like, so maybe you can't eliminate all the toxicity out of your life, but you can create your climate by incorporating more people like this, more people in your life that like, I know for me, when I feel low energy, I hop in to these groups and I just like read through, like I scroll down and I'm like, yep, there she is. Like, I cannot, like, it's been so, I can't even count how many times that's been the game changer for me, where I just want to like hide. And so I'm an avoidant. I know, you know, and that's another thing, is knowing yourself. I'm an avoidant, so I will retreat. I want to hide. I want to avoid things that I don't like. And so, you know, that, I think that's the next slide actually. The best way out of a pattern is to do the opposite. So on the days where I don't want to show up in the group, like I'm a little bit like, I feel like I don't have anything of value to give to people, that's okay. Because what you can do is go in there, and that's the beauty of community and teamwork, right? Like whenever I'm feeling low energy, I know right where to go that I can fill up. And the same, like we can build each other up and you know, succeed that way. And so I think it's important to know yourself, you know, and it's just like our nutrition and exercise. If you have a unhealthy habit that you want to toss, you know, you do the opposite. And so let's just say you want to get rid of soda. You want to stop drinking soda in your life. What do? Well, you know, you start incorporating, let's say, drinking tea instead of soda or water, whatever. And I love the hydration challenge that you guys totally crushed. And so, you know, this is where kind of the best way out of a pattern is to do the opposite. So if you are like me and you're an avoidant and you tend to hide, retreat, run away, challenge yourself to confront it, you know, to stay, to, it's the hardest thing, I tell you, it's the hardest thing. Like this took so long for me, but like, and it took over a year to like get this, but I had to watch myself resort to old patterns. And I'm like, Megan, you're just you're gonna get the same outcome until you choose to do differently, right? So maybe you are like me, where instead of like saying, let's say you're in a situation where you don't feel you're treated well in a relationship or something. And instead of ignoring it, being silent, you decide to speak up in a very kind-hearted way, and you decide to, you know, vocalize that. Maybe you're the opposite. And you scream, you accuse, you are the one that's in the other person's face. Then I challenge you to start practicing pausing, listening, you know, being more open-minded. So it's really twofold there: understanding yourself and what your norm is, what your patterns are, and then learning to do the opposite in those unhealthy patterns. So I think about it and I'm like, right now around the holidays, possibly you could be frustrated, you could be sad. And, you know, I think about it and I was just trying to think of different situations. And maybe, you know, you're tired of being taken advantage of. Like you just do it all. and that's just how it's been. And you just kind of you just let it go. You're like, well, whatever, you know, it's just easier for me just to let it go and just do it. But I challenge you, to speak up and do the opposite of that, because you're going to keep feeling frustrated, resentful towards that person possibly who's taking advantage of you. Like, that's never going to change until the opposite's done. And I know it's not like the coolest thing to hear. It's not easy, but it really helps. So when you find yourself in patterns of like frustration or anger, looking at that pattern and like, well, what are you doing and what's the opposite that you could do? Maybe you could, instead of hiding and just not like denial or ignoring it, challenge yourself. And even if it's just like, you don't get the answer that you want, and that's another thing, like, we can't expect other people, like, they have the right to choose and react the way they do. So we only have control over what we say, and I think that's another very helpful thing, is that you could get angry at other people for not acting the way you want them to. And trust me, I was married before. So I look back at it and I'm like, we were the ones that butt heads. I was an avoidant and he just wanted to scream and get it over with and just talk. And I wanted to like give the silent treatment and completely avoid the situation, and it's just like one of those things where it's not easy when you're in those situations. But I challenge you going into 2019 to look at the habits that maybe aren't working so well for you and challenge yourself to do the opposite. Whether that is nutritionally, like you do want to give up soda, or whether that is exercise and you know that if you wait till the evening to work out, it usually doesn't happen. Like, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself those questions and, do the opposite. Okay, well, that means I'm going to have to wake up and get it done in the morning, because then the excuses are gone. Then when I'm tired and just want to lay on the couch when I get home from work, it's already done. I've already taken care of myself, and that's not everybody's issue, but you find your own. You find those unhealthy, those patterns that aren't serving you, and you are worthy enough to play a role in your own life. You are worth it. You are worth that. And so it's okay to look at that and see where, and ask yourself those tough questions. See where you can make 2019 a completely different year, because you are choosing to do the opposite. You are owning up. You're asking yourself those tough questions, and you don't want to be in a hamster wheel. You don't want 2019 to be like 2018 again. And if you're being honest with yourself, I think that you probably already in your mind thought of something already, right? And I think that's where, going back to the feelings, I think a lot of times, like, we're told to think logically. Well, that's just not smart, or that's just not safe, and I thought about that when leaving my teaching job. Like, everybody thought I was stupid, crazy, all of that, but in my heart, I knew, in my gut, I knew, and I knew I wasn't happy. And so if you're being honest with yourself, you know exactly the patterns that need to go. You know exactly where that toxicity is that needs confronted, right? And so I challenge you to ask yourself those questions, those hard questions, am I being a thermometer or a thermostat in my own life? Because I tell you, and this is the biggest key that I have found in making this a lifestyle and adhering to it, is feeling that you are worth it. Feeling that you are worthy of happiness. And that's what I have found that it boils down to, because otherwise you're not going to do it when it's hard. You're not going to show up for yourself if you feel like, you're not worth it in your own life, or maybe you let other things take priority because you're trying to make other people happy. And that's another thing I had to learn, that you are not in control of other people's happiness. You're only in control of your own. So that's where setting a thermostat in your own life and not letting other people dictate your life for you. Like, you are the main character in your own life. And if you aren't, I challenge you to make that a priority in 2019, because you are worth it. You are worth being the main character in your own life. Also asking yourself, am I living out of fear or love? Are you afraid of messing up? Are you afraid of all the what ifs instead of looking at like all the opportunities, you know, like that quote that's like, well, what if I fall? And I think it's like, oh, but my dear, what if you fly? And it's like looking at it, you know, looking and recognizing what lens you are looking at life through. Are you looking at it through the lens of fear or the lens of love, that you know that you're safe, loved, and protected regardless of what you do or don't do? And for me, that was like the biggest thing, that it took a lot of the fear away, because I knew if I messed up, that I was still loved, I was still safe, and I was protected. Like, we're always taken care of. God's always got us. And this team has got you. You know, so I love that. Like, fall down as many times as you want. Like, actually, like, try. Take those challenges. Take those. Like, I think about goals in 2019, and I didn't want to make this about goals, but I love that part. You know, I think a lot of people don't have goals that excite them. So why would you even care if you carried through and followed through or not? You set them too low. And like, guys, we're so freaking capable of so many things. And I know Michelle, like, I love her story, because last year around this time, like, I remember her being like, it was like back and forth, and she's like, no, this program is like, I read, I watched this video and it's too hard. Like, I'll work up to that or something. And like 2 weeks in, I remember you were like, I just am not going to do this. Like, this is just, I knew it. And you did it. And not only did you do it, like, you like blew it away. And I thought that it's the coolest story ever, because, you know, we don't know what we're capable of. Like, if we go and think logically, we're eat ourselves apart. We're think of all the reasons why we shouldn't do something, or all the things that possibly could go wrong. But when you jump and you take it and you stop eating yourself alive in your mind and go with your heart, and you're just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Or, you know, like, at least I'm going to not live in the, like, what if I would have tried? And, you know, you did it and you carried through. And I remember that being so inspiring, and it still is to this day, just what we are capable of. And then I remember when you first started your team, I love it, because you're like, I can do hard things. And I think that is so beautiful, because yes, we can. We can do hard things. And what we thought was hard last year at this time is freaking easy. And now we have, and that's growth. That is growth. That is progress. And it's beautiful. And it's so exciting, because there's no limits. And so when you set those things that are exciting and hard, like, I think that hard and challenging, like, our minds thrive on that, thrive on progress, and thrive on something to achieve. And it's not basing our value on it, you know. It's not like, when I achieve this number on a scale, I'm going to be happy, or when I finish this program, I'm going to be happy. No, happiness is today, here and now. But it's, oh wow, look what I just did. Now what you know, what's next? Like, it's that excitement. It's that something to strive for, and getting to do it alongside of like the best, most amazing, encouraging, loving, supportive people ever is just like, it's a godsend. It's like awesome. So I just, you know, I hope that helped. That, you know, asking yourself those tough questions and challenging yourself to do things differently, like, recognize those patterns where it's not treating you, it's not serving you. Like, be the main character in your own life, and recognize what's serving you and not serving you, and start creating that climate that's going to best serve you and set you up for success. And you being on this call, you've already begun that. You already have it, you know. And like, I'm blown away all the time by you guys, getting your workouts in, and just, you know, loving each other and living life to the fullest, you know. And that's the coolest thing. And I see you guys, and I'm so inspired by all of you, and it's just so neat. And so I challenge you, you know, to create big goals for yourself and big challenges, because challenge is fun. Challenge is like exciting. If you're not challenged, then like, I don't know, I don't, how can that be exciting to wake up and be like, oh, what can I accomplish today, right? Or like, that was, you know. And it's like, it's not that, like, I think about these workouts and they're really hard, but in some sick way, it's kind of like, it's so neat when you have other people working hard with you. And so I think about that, and I think about what we have. We have the resources at our fingertips, but we also have the people, and our souls combined. I honestly feel energy, even across the miles, I feel energy. And you have that. So I just, challenge you. I'm like, get excited and be, and feel the blessing that you have. And so anytime you start to feel a little bit like sad or disheartened, lean into this, lean into what you have here. Like, I can't even imagine, with Michelle and Greg, like, you guys just so kind-hearted, so generous. Like, I can't think of more people that just want to see other people succeed as much as you guys do. And it's just like a blessing, to have the opportunity. Like, I think about all of you on this call. I wouldn't have even known you, if it wasn't for Michelle and Greg. And I think that's so the best thing about this community and this is the people that we get to meet. So I thank you guys. I didn't want this to be like where I was just talking the whole time, but I hope that helped, and I am really appreciative for this opportunity, because I love this. I feel like I'm in the family room with you guys.
You are.
You are.
And I love, Megan, I love what you said, and especially about the hiding piece, because, I was looking at the post from this weekend, and there's a few people who got workouts in and they posted, but what I put on that post was, let's share our workouts or our self-care or our rest day. So there should not be one person in this group who did not post this weekend, but there are many who did not post this weekend. So kind of my message tonight is starting tomorrow, what I want to see everybody on this team do is recommit and get your behinds in the group and post. It's really not that hard. And I say, I love what you said too about how, we will just love on you guys, whether you get a workout in or you don't get a workout in. I want to see you guys all succeed. I want to see you, eating clean and drinking water and working out, because I want you to be the best version of you. That's why. It's not because, oh, well, if you don't work out today, tisk on you. It's that I know, because I've been there, that if you don't take care of you and you go past that, you get on that third day of you've done nothing and you're eating crap and you're drinking nothing but coffee or soda and you're not moving your body, you mentally are going to feel like crap. And then that, then you kind of look at what's going on in your life, and you're not getting along with your husband, or your kids are arguing, or you're annoyed with everything, or you're tired. Well, that's because you are not taking care of you, and what's going in you and what's staying in you is crap. So you have to get that out somehow. So that's why I tell people, I don't care if you didn't get your workout in. Come in that group on that fitness post or on that nutrition post and say something I didn't get my workout in today, but I had a salad for lunch. Anything, any little tiny thing that you did for yourself, coming in there and saying something to that group, or going through and, like you said, reading everybody's comments and seeing what's going on. It's so helpful. And that's the other reason why I tell people, there's some people on our team that they just get it done, and they don't need, they don't need those comments. They don't need to read that. But here's the thing, there's no I in the word team. And this is a team, and this is a family. And there are people on this team who rely on and need this community and the support. And that's why we have this team. So if you're somebody who's self-motivated, but you don't come in and post because, well, I got my workout done and I'm moving on with my day, but you could be such a blessing and such a help to other people just by posting what you did, just by posting your workout, or just by posting, even if you're not, Greg's not a picture of his food person, but he could certainly be yep, just had my Shakeology.
Teamwork.
On my way to a meeting, had a Shakeology. So you still see, people can come in and still see that other people are doing it. But I will tell you, like, seriously, as one of the co-leaders of this team, like when I come in this group and I don't see that people have posted, I seriously am ready to come like shake the crap out of each and every person on this team. Like it drives me batty because I love everybody on this team so much. And I'm like, come on. Like I know each and every person on this team has something amazing to offer. Whether you did a workout or you didn't do a workout, just you and your mindset and your personality and you as a person, you have something to offer other people. But if you don't show up and you don't post and you just stay quiet and you're off somewhere else, like it's just such a disservice to yourself and to everyone. So like, I'll get off my little soapbox with it, but it, you know, we create this group and there's a lot of work that goes into these groups and a lot of heart and soul and love that comes in. And so just encouraging everybody to show up and get that support, get that community, and don't feel like just because you didn't get a workout in that you don't have anything to offer, because I'm telling you, you do. Like if you didn't have anything to offer, you wouldn't have been invited to this group in the first darn place. So, you know, like the reason that we invite people to join us is because we see something in everyone that is like, oh, you know, I just want this person to come in and do this with us and it will change, you know, everything. Like, goodness gracious, America. Like, seriously, I think of like where you were when you started this and like how long we've kind of been going back and forth. Like you and I went back and forth before BOD even existed, you know, and you have your walking videos that you were doing, and then you did the rock and body for a while, you know, then you did the PiYo, and now Greg said now she has a rocking body.
Yeah,
no, but I look at it like how you were like, you didn't like, you had confidence, but it was like tucked up in you. Like it was there because you're still you, but along this journey, like you have just grown so much. And now it's like, I look at like, I can remember that there were times when you were like, oh, you know, okay, I'm going to get my workout in. Like it wasn't, I don't know that it was something you wanted to do, but it was like, I have to do it. And now I see you like, you're so much more positive about it. And it's like, I know that I'm going to see a post from America because I know she wants to do this because it makes her feel good. And she likes this community, and it's just so refreshing and so awesome to see like where you've come. And then you've got Maria, who is now a coach, and she just took that step so that she can, you know, engage in this even more fully. But, you know, and Maria, you're the same way. Like you started with the DVDs and we're like, I don't know about this whole BOD thing. And I don't know if I want to spend the money. And then it clicked and you were like, darn it, I am going to do this because, you know, everybody else has this and I don't have this and I can't do like whatever workout I want. And then we've got Pam, and I'm not even going to go into all the stuff that's going on in Pam's life, but she has a crap ton of stuff on her, family pressures and illnesses in her family, and a husband who lives umpteen hours away right now while he's working. And she's still getting it done, and she's still showing up. And no, she doesn't get her workout in every day, but you know what? When we have these calls on Sunday, she shows up.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday she shows up. When we have our coach calls on Monday, she shows up.
Every Monday.
So, you know, like that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, whether you're in a stuck place, whether you're flying, like, you know, you're just rocking it. It does not matter. It's about showing up in one way, shape, or another. And this team is here for everybody. Right?
Yes.
Right. Your turn.
My turn. Oh, okay. So Megan, I'm gonna share I'm not going to co-sign your bullshit because that is awesome. I'm stealing that. I'm going to use
I was
it.
like, yes!
I'm going to use it forever because that is beautiful. Beautiful. Because we do sometimes enable each other. And like Megan said, we're here for you. We're here to support you. We're going to love you no matter what. But I'm not going to co-sign your bullshit either. I'm here for you to help put out a hand, to walk next to you, to encourage you, and call you on the BS. I'm not going to co-sign it and say it's okay when it's really not. I'll be here. We'll be here. All of us will be here for each other to support, to give guidance, to help, to do whatever we want, but definitely not going to enable, right? I'm not into enabling those things that are holding us back. The nutrition, the working out, the self-loathing, I think, is one of the biggest things that a lot of us struggle with. There's something about ourselves that we don't like. Like, this is really uncomfortable for me because if you notice, I still have a lazy eye. So for me, it's the self-loathing thing. I don't like the way my face looks with my eye. So I try to stay out of the camera. I don't want to get involved. But there's always going to be something about you that you don't like. And it's getting out of that box and getting away from the self-loathing into self-love. And then once you get into self-love, you move from that fear column over to that love column that you were talking about, Megan. And you just start to blossom. And you're going to fall. You're going to trip back in. That road we've been walking for so many years is so deep, and that rut is so comfortable. That's going to be our natural place. That's our comfy place. And it does take a lot. It does take a family, a tribe like this to help pull you out of that rut into that new road that you're trying to make for yourself. So I never post in nutrition because I don't, but I just got coached by my coach that no matter what, I should say that I got a shake. So I'm going to start posting in nutrition as well. I still won't take pictures of my food because I think that's just weird, but I'll post. And we got a doodle. Bye, doodle. But Megan, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that, because that was fantastic. And it's something I needed to hear as well, because I'll tell you, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with my workouts because I don't like it. I thought I was going to love PiYo. It's not motivating. It's not my thing, though I love yoga. I just don't like, I just don't love that. So the great thing about Beachbody On Demand is tomorrow I don't have to do that. Right? Tomorrow I'm going to get back to something that I love. I'm going to go back to Lift 4 because I love lifting the weights. And I'm just going to do that until I'm going to go get my butt kicked by Shaun T, because I think that's just going to be fun and some other things in there, but we're going to just keep with the fun piece. But that's a great thing about this whole community that we're part of. You don't like it? Push stop, scroll, push play, and find something you do like, and find something that fits into the time frame. Right. You don't have 35 minutes. There's a 15-minute workout. There's a stretch. There's a something that you can do to fill the time, and it's all right there. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm the same way. Like, I was doing PiYo and I did like it, and I do like it. I feel like I felt less, like all that sort of pain that I was dealing with in my hips and stuff and feeling stuck. I did the PiYo for a couple of weeks, and like that really helped loosen things up. But after being sick and being like totally off the grid and unable to do anything for over a week, like, you know, obviously, naturally, the scale went up. I didn't feel as good as I had. You know, my body didn't look the same. And because I'm human, like, that stuff that bothered me. Like, I didn't like that. But the old me seriously would have just been like, okay, well, this is whatever. Like, I'm puffy again. The scale's up again. I'm eating off track again. Okay, I'm just going to stay in this place. Like, it's easier to stay in this place. But now, as of yesterday, I was like, okay, like, or not yesterday, Friday. As of Friday, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm finally feeling better. I can do this. And you know what? I was like, PiYo is not the answer for me right now because I need to kick my own ass. Like, I need to get down there and do something that's going to get me out of this. Like, the scale is going to go down. I am going to be craving good food. I'm going to want to drink water, and I'm going to feel my body. Like, my body is going to tell me, like, girlfriend, you need to stretch, you need to eat, you need to do this stuff. And PiYo wouldn't do that for me right now. it'd be a great stretch, but it's not going to kick my butt, which is what I needed to kind of get back into this, you know. And now today is like the day 3, the rest day. And I felt exhausted today and everything hurts and is sore. And my inclination was, okay, well, I'll just stay on the couch all day. But I was like, you know what? I can't go on this call with everybody tonight and have done nothing today, because that wasn't what I said I was going to do. So I did go downstairs and I did the stretch for Lift Forward. I did the stretching from 80-Day Obsession. And it was amazing because I was done and I was like, oh, everything feels better. And my energy, like all that tiredness that I had going on all day, was like out the door, like totally gone. And I was like, okay, so the more I sit around on my butt, the more tired I am. So if I don't want to be so tired, like sometimes we are absolutely legitimately tired, mentally, physically, and we need to take a break. But there's other times when that exhaustion is coming because we haven't done anything. And so when we haven't done anything and when we haven't eaten well, it is like, it makes us sluggish. So, you know, but that was the kind of the cool thing. So now, like, until Transform 20 starts in January, I'm going to keep doing Lift 4 because, like, I like that it's 4 days, and I missed this, like, everything hurts all over feeling. And I missed, like, my body actually telling me, like, you need to sleep, you need to eat, you need water. You know, so I think that's what's great. Like, we picked PiYo for this challenge because we did a poll and set, like, listed all the programs and said, what do people want to do? And this was the one that was most popular. So this is kind of what we did. But that doesn't mean it's what everybody has to do, or that we have to stay stuck in it or be like, well, we said we were going to do the PiYo challenge, so I gotta do this PiYo even if I hate it. Like, that is not what this is about. Like, this is about, we literally have 700 workouts to choose from. So if you're not feeling PiYo, if you're not feeling Lift 4 that day, and you're feeling like, you know what, I need me some Shanti size like Maria, do it. Like, absolutely, like, do it. You're not going to offend me. I don't care. I just want to see you move. And again, it comes back to, it's because I know it will make you feel better. And as a coach, that's why I do what I do. Like, I am not doing this because, you know, I make $1 million with it, because I don't. Like, it's not a money-making thing for me. It's legitimately that, like you said, Megan, like a year ago, I was like, this is too hard. I can't do this. This sucks. You know, I can't do that move. I'm modifying all the time. I can't get the sliders to work. Like, you name it, I bitched about it. And then finally there came a point where, you know, I wasn't doing that. And, you know, there's some parts of my story that I will never, you know, share openly with everyone. But I know, like, Megan, you know, Pam, you know, Greg knows, like, that 80-Day Obsession program transformed me in such ways that went way beyond nutrition, way beyond fitness. Like, this is truly a mind-changing lifestyle. You know, like, Maria, I see it with you. Like, you've taken on this coaching opportunity, but you're also now, like, seriously thinking about a bakery. You know, that you, like, that wouldn't have been going on a year ago. So, like, you know, in America with you, like, you're going out and buying new clothes that are like, you really like these clothes. That wouldn't have been going on a year ago. So all of this stuff, it transcends, you know, a number on a scale, or, you know, the size of clothes that you wear, or what your body looks like, or what you're looking like in a bathing suit. And it's not about getting a summer body. It's legitimately just about, like, this stuff transforms people's lives from the inside out. And then you look at where you were a year ago and where you are now, and the things that you think about and the things that you do, and your goals, like how you see your future. Like, the way that I see, like, when I sit here now and I'm like, okay, what are we going to be doing a year from now? Like, the picture looks way, like, you know, like, there's so many more ideas that I have in my head that I never would have had before. Yeah. You know, so, you know, again, like, I just really would love to see, you know, everybody kind of like, what is, you know, like, what does it say? What does Shanti say? Like, trust the process, transform your life, or believe and trust. Like, you know, like, I don't say what I say because I'm just talking. I say what I say because I've been there and I know it works. Sort of like we share our experiences with people because we've been there. So sometimes I guess it can be frustrating, like as a coach or as anybody on the team. Like you see somebody and you see that they're stuck and you're just like, oh my gosh, girlfriend, like, come on, like one foot in front of the other. Like, let's just go. And like you said, like Greg said, like anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a co-signer of bullshit. Like I'm just like, sometimes I have to hold it back because I want to call people out on, you know, like, I hear you with the busyness, or I hear you with this, or I hear you with that. But that's true for everyone. Like, we all have our stuff, but we still show up for ourselves. So it's a matter of, you got to choose you, and you have to, like you said, Megan, not feel guilty about that, because if you are not taking care of you, then eventually your cup is just going to be empty and you're not going to be able to give to anyone else. Or you will be able to give, but boy, are you going to have a lot of resentment and a lot of irritation. And that is not because of the other people in your life. That is because of you. That is because you are doing, and you're just mad because you're doing for everyone else and they're not doing for you. But you know what? It's not their job to do for you. It is your job to do for you. So like, I feel like that's why this community is like, sets, like the Beachbody community and these groups set it all apart, because I feel like that's what we try to focus on, is we try to continuously send that message of like, absolutely be there for your kids and your husband and your families and your work, and do what you need to do in life, but also be there for you. Because if you're not, eventually you're going to be pretty ticked off at the whole world around you. And you're going to have all, like, I hear like people are, you know, they blame this person, or they blame that one, or they blame this one, or they're waiting for that person who's going to come into their life and make them happy and make everything better. Well, like that's the stuff of fairy tales. Like, there is no one that's going to come in on a white horse and fix your life. You know, I mean, God himself, yes, he will come in if you let him, and he will transform your heart, your mind, your soul. But one, you have to let him in. Two, you have to like live according to, you know, what God says is right, you know, as far as what's going to be the best thing for you. But you have to show up. Like, you have to put in the work, and you have to put in the time. And if you do that and you stay consistent, even if you fall off for a day or a week, you get the heck back in and you just continue down the journey. Like, it's a lifestyle and it's a journey. It's not, like you said, Megan, it's not about, okay, when I finish this program, I'm done. When I finish this, I'm done. No, it's, I finished that, what's next? And you just keep moving on, and you just keep showing up. And then you look back one day and are like, wow, like, I'm seriously not the same person that I was before. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Pam's awfully quiet over there. Maria's quiet. America's quiet. I see Maria nodding her head.
And you know, it's cool because these are the beautiful faces that you see consistently, you know, in the group. And I have now I've ran a group every month for 3 years. I've seen the people that do show up are the ones that do stay with it year after year. You know, the ones that are showing up, because giving is receiving. So if anybody's listening to this and maybe it's like, well, you know, maybe you feel awkward showing up now, like you haven't been posting, and now it's like, well, I haven't been posting, so this is going to be, or you're afraid if you start posting and then you fail, then what's going to happen, you know? And I just challenge you to maybe make that your challenge, post every day. And even if you don't do your workout, what I love about, like, I mean, seeing America's face pop up on there, like, I mean, I wasn't kidding, America, when I told you that your smile, like, you brighten my day. Like you really do. And that's so much like, that's giving. And so even, you know, if you're listening to this call on record, you know, like even if you don't, let's say, get your workout in, but you comment on everybody else's, I guarantee that will light your fire. You are giving is probably like seeing other people and like pouring in other, like that's so valuable, you know, and I hope that you don't underestimate, even like Michelle, you said, maybe it was something like you took, you ate a salad for lunch, or maybe you took the stairs instead of the elevator. You know, those are all awesome things. And I think we undermined, you know, little things like that do add up. And, you know, posting in there and commenting, like Maria, you comment on everybody's things. And I know it just means the world. Like that, I would read through everything that you would write to people, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's just, and that, I mean, even if people don't say it, like it means so much. It means so much. So if you're listening to this on record, I challenge you to just maybe make that your challenge, like post every day. And even if it's not you posting a selfie, maybe that's not your thing. You know, and that goes back to knowing yourself and your strengths. But your strength is commenting and encouraging other people. You know, that's huge, and that is very valuable. And so, yeah, I love that, Michelle, about, you know, just being true to you and knowing yourself, you know, knowing your strengths. That's what Beachbody is about. Like we have it all at our resource. Like that's why they have so many programs. Because, you know, as a PE teacher, I didn't want to force everybody to play football, the unit football, all year round. Like some people love dance. Some people loved, you know, there's all kinds of different ways to stay active, you know. So whether it's weightlifting, no weight, just body weight, dance, yoga is huge. Like I want to start doing that too, because it's knowing yourself. And, you know, listen, like you said, Michelle, our bodies speak to us, you know, and I think that we're like so much about society and how we're supposed to be that we don't listen to our bodies. Right. And when we need to rest, if we don't rest, our body will force us to rest, whether that's like you get sick or you have a mental breakdown or what, but your body will protect you in that way, you know, and it will force you to rest. And so it's like when you get those, like, get so in tune with your body and what you need, like whether it is a yoga retreat, whether it is some hardcore lifting, you know, like that, we have it all. And so I love that. And I love that, you know, being true to yourself, don't do it to make someone else happy. You be true to you, you own your own journey. And that makes it more enjoyable. Because if you're going to force yourself to do something that is just not, like, it's not going to be fun and it's going to be really hard to maintain. So that would be, yeah, I would just say, like, be true to yourself and what makes you happy. And in turn, you will see, like Greg said, when you start looking at and flipping the side from fear to love, loving yourself, being true to you, making decisions for your happiness and not somebody else's, it in turn makes people around you happier though. And it's really cool how that works because, you know, when you're happy, you immediately give that energy when you walk in a room. You don't even have to say anything. Like, people can feel your energy when you're happy. People can feel your energy when you're in a low state. So choose you. I would say choose you with your happiness. Be true to you.
Awesome. Well, I think we should probably wrap up since we've been going for an hour. And Megan, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on and saying everything that you said. I think we really needed it as a team to kind of, you know, make this last push through 2018 and start 19 off united and on a positive note. So anything else?
So for people that were doing the water thing, so I will be tomorrow morning, I will be adding up everybody's total ounces, and then we'll come on in our group and I will announce like who our 2 top winners are. So just make sure that by, like, if you can by like 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, have tonight's water tally posted in there, then I'm going to take care of that tomorrow.
And next week is Green Week, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So next week, instead of water, we're going to do Green Week. So have to post. This is gonna get me to actually post a nutrition.
You have to post it because if we don't see it, it does not count.
You have to post something that you drank that was green, whether you mixed something into your Shakeology or you're drinking some crazy fruit juice or whatever it is. It's got to be Grinch green. You know, we're going to go, and it could be like, even if you put spinach in your chocolate Shakeology, it'll have that nasty green tint. It counts. It counts.
And
So
you can, if you do that, what you can do is before you blend your Shakeology, so let's say you do the chocolate, you can put your ice and your spinach in and your scoop of Shakeology and take the picture of that and then take another one after it's all blended. So like that way, like you're not being judged on your greenness. So it's not about how grinchy you are. It's about that you put something green in something.
Oh, I'm going green grinchy.
So no, Kelly Lebo, your salads don't count. I know you're already going to ask me. No, ma'am. Put it in your freaking Shakeology.
Or whatever you're drinking, or whatever it is. If you go out and you do a fruit juice. Oh wait, Maria, I can't hear you talking. If you go out and you do a fruit juice.
And I'm just going to put it out there. Christine Maida drinks green stuff throughout the day. So that girl is going to be giving us all, well, Greg and I can't win the prize, but the rest of you, she will be giving you a serious run for your money. Sometime tomorrow, I am going to come on and I'll post some links to websites that have like ideas, like things you can blend up like with a Vitamix or a NutriBullet. So it might be like a banana and like part of a banana, part of an apple, some celery, some spinach. Like I've done this before and it doesn't taste horrible. It sounds disgusting, but it truly doesn't sound horrible. Or it doesn't taste horrible. It just sounds horrible. But the idea is to just, we want to create these fun ways to challenge ourselves. And this will be a challenge for me too, because honestly, there's days where I don't drink my Shakeology. I want to drink it, and then the day goes, and I'm like, crap, I did not even drink Shakeology today. So that's like, it'll be a challenge for me too. And then we have those prizes, which was, there's the 2 packs of pumpkin spice Shakeology, plus the
bag.
No, there wasn't a bag.
Oh.
This week is the bag.
Oh, all right, whatever.
So there's 2 pumpkin spice Shakeology packs. There's a box of 4 winter bath bombs, and there is some relaxation essential oils. So it will be that whoever has the most green drinks by the end of the week gets all of that. If for some reason we have a tie, then we'll do like a live pulling it out of the hat and of all those people, and then I guess we'll have a winner. Because we said, like, we were trying to decide if it was going to be like we would break it up and each person would get a different thing, but this is such a significantly big challenge for some people that we're like, nope, we give you the whole loot. So
there's that. Water challenge ends tonight. Make sure you have your tallies from Michelle in the morning. Tomorrow starts the green challenge.
Green Grinch.
Post your green Shakeology drinks, juices, whatever it is, in the nutrition starting tomorrow, and we'll tally that up and have a winner by next week. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Facebook.
Bye.
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 Yeah.